Hello, my name is Dr. DrWedding, and this is DrWedding VB02, installing Visual Studio Community. Visual Studio Community is the software that you will be using to write Visual Basic programs. It is a free download from Microsoft. The software can be downloaded from either the link shown below or by going to a browser and searching for Visual Studio Community. Let's get started. First, I'm going to open up a browser and I'm going to type in download Visual Studio Community. I'm going to follow the link from Microsoft.com and I'm going to select download. This will download the setup file. This is not the complete version, but the program that will go online and get the complete version for you. So next I'm going to drag the setup file onto my desktop and we'll run this program. Installing Visual Studio Community is not a quick process. The installation will be condensed for time for this video, but a stopwatch will be running in the corner of the screen so you'll have an idea of how long it really takes. First, we're going to run the setup file. And this is going to take us to a menu of modules that we can select and install. The more modules you select and install, the longer it will take to finish. To program in Visual Basic, all you need to do is select the .NET Desktop Development module. If you want to add more modules, you can select them now, or you can add them in the future with the Modify button. After I select this one module, I'm going to press Install, and I'm going to uncheck Start after installation. At this point, Visual Studio Community is installed. As you can see, the installation took almost 10 minutes. If you wish to add more modules in the future, you can use the Modify button. To return to this menu, all you need to do is rerun the setup file. The rest of this video is an explanation of the terms for people who are new to programming. The terms that will be covered are Integrated Development Environment, or an IDE, Source Code, Form Editor, Text Editor, and Compiler. For people who are already familiar with programming and what these terms mean, please feel free to jump to the next video in this series. What is Visual Studio? Visual Studio is an integrated development environment, or an IDE. An IDE is software that includes all of the tools to complete a task. In this case, the task is to write a Visual Basic program. Some parts of the IDE include a visual form editor to create the interface for your program, a context-sensitive editor to write your source code, and a compiler or interpreter to make the program run. By installing different components, you can write your source code in different languages. VB is one language that can be used in Visual Studio. Source code is the code that a human writes in a programming language that is based on words a human would use. A computer will not be able to use the source code until it is converted into an executable file. Every time you make a change to the source code, it must be converted to a binary file. You'll be writing your source code in a high-level language called Visual Basic. There are many other high-level languages like C, C#, Python, Fortran, and so on. There are also low-level languages such as assembly and machine code, but we will not be covering these in this series of videos. You may be wondering, why are there so many different programming languages? And why isn't there just one? There are a lot of different languages for the same reason there are a lot of different types of cars. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. For example, if I was in the Indy 500, I would not want a 2014 Toyota Avalon. If I was driving to the store to pick up a couch, I would not want a Mini Cooper. And if I was on a farm with dirt roads and ruts, a Bentley Continental GT might not be the best choice. All of these are great cars, but sometimes there are better choices for the task at hand. VB is a great choice when you are writing a program that a human will be interfacing with, because it is powerful and very easy to generate an intuitive graphical user interface. Visual Studio Community's IDE also includes a very easy drag-and-drop form editor. You can just select the object from the toolbox menu and drop it on the form. This will allow you to easily build a powerful and intuitive interface. This will be your program's graphical user interface. The Properties window can be used to change the object's foreground colors, background colors, the text, the object's name, the object's size, and many other characteristics. Your source code will be written with an editor. The source code is what will make the graphical form do the desired tasks. It will help you copy, paste, type, and write your program. Many program editors will have context-sensitive user interfaces. This means that as you type, certain words will change color, become bold, become italicized, and the tabs will be inserted. This is very helpful. Once you start to learn what the different commands look like, you will easily be able to notice a typographical error. Once you write your source code in a high-level language such as VB, it will need to be converted into something that the computer can understand. That is the job of a compiler. A compiler will convert the high-level language that a human can understand and a computer can't understand into a binary file that a computer can understand but a human can't understand. The conversion is done through a series of smaller steps. These steps will not be covered in this video series. Creating the binary file, or executable, out of the source code is a very complex task. The software that converts the source code is called a compiler. A compiler is a lot like a human interpreter who speaks two languages. Instead of speaking English and French, the compiler speaks VB and Windows operating system. What you tell the compiler in VB is what the compiler tells Windows. Compilers are not interchangeable. If you want to write in C for Windows, you need a C compiler for Windows. If you want to write in C for Linux, you need a C for Linux compiler. This is a very complex job, but the IDE has it all wrapped up into one neat button. If you find these videos useful, please like and subscribe. It is the only way I can continue to make these videos.